Hello, welcome to Walking Free with Pastor Theresa from the Praise and Worship Family Outreach Center. We are talking about coming out of our soul prisons. Some of us maybe way up there in age, not even realizing that a lot about us, is we've been kept in a prison in our mind, in our souls of fears and shame and habits and things. So if you're joining us for the first time, you can go back and pick up on some of these short podcasts and understand this. The background of this in my story is from being married to a narcissist and all that. Prior to that, even my soul prisons began, and he just really put a lot more nails into it there. So after leaving him, going back to him, I became sick in my body, going through those next years of such emotional, spiritual abuse and worried for my children and all of that. So I got sick in my body, which it took 2.5 years for doctors to diagnose and find out there's no cure. And I was on so many medications just for the pain. It's a peripheral neuropathy. My entire body, my entire nervous system had been attacked by a virus because I had gotten my immune system down in all of the stuff I was going through, and left scar tissue around every nerve center, constant pain, constant stimulus of pain 24/7 in my life. Inner organs, physical, everything. And they said eventually, not just not being able to walk and use my arms, draw all this stuff, that eventually my inner organs would begin to fail. And that all of this had started. This went on for 11 years. And the crippling pain, everything. So I had to give up my 2 jobs. I couldn't drive. I couldn't sit very long or stand or lay without pain. I can't work, and he tells me to crawl to town to get a job, accusing me of lying about all of the other. Applied for disability, which was quite a process, long process. I can't tell you how horrible it is living this with him and still taking care of him and his needs, all of his needs. The effect it had on my children until one day he screamed at me to leave and not come back until I became a Christian and a godly one. So to his shock, I left. I drove in pain, pulling over at times to get off the road, ease up a little bit, and I found a little motel, stayed a few days in that room, 24/7, fasting and praying. I slept on piles of pillows and blankets when I could get any little bit of sleep. This little trip was the beginning of the real separation. As I said last week, I left him, but when he found me, out of fear for my life and my children's lives, I reunited with him. I did go back to him. I sought counsel from a pastor, drew my strength from the one on the throne in me. I did not meet with my husband alone on these things. He said, I would have to leave. I would be the one that would have to leave the house and all of this. He was going to stay there. He needed the youngest child to stay and take care of his laundry and meals and so forth and stuff. But how was he going to pay the bills if I wasn't there? If I didn't have money coming in, what was going to happen to him? And I got help finding an attorney. It broke my heart leaving my daughter there, but the process began. He refused to budge, comply with legal proceedings, which all came back on him in the end, but he made it very difficult. I went through major surgery after surgery during the time which he came, where I was staying, yelling and screaming, banging on walls of the apartment and the house until police would be called. Got my daughter, and our church put us up in hiding for 1 week. I had a great church family that understood, the pastor that had counseled me, that God does not condone abuse of any kind, and it was hard for me to even think through any of this with my husband's voice in my head 24/7, but I was just moving these steps along with the help of other people. So we stayed in hiding while he was given a summons, served his summons to court, and my daughter and I hid for 9 months in a concrete outbuilding, concrete blocks of some people that knew us, and he never found us at that place. But it was during the holidays, Thanksgiving and Christmas, and she was crying, wanting to be home, and my heart was just broken, and I really had a really, really, really bad time during that time. because I didn't know when the next door was going to open. I didn't know what was going to happen. But God so far had been in all of this, and I knew God was in me. I knew He was working. So I had some more counsel and said that I had the right to take the property. He had already had a full-time girlfriend and was going to Chattanooga Christian singles groups and all this before we got legally divorced and so forth. I had a friend come one day when he was going to Chattanooga on a Sunday morning. I had a friend come and change the locks on the house. I pulled up a little bit of strength. I put all his clothes on the front deck, and I let the sheriff's department know what I was doing. I had the legal right to the place, but I let them know that I was worried. And so he came home, began screaming and banging on doors, began to break a double glass window. And when he got in, I had the sheriff's department on the line who was asking, do we need to dispatch? Do we need to dispatch? Are you in trouble? And then he began to say, who is that on the phone? And he calmed down and began all this other, he's so sorry, and all of this. And so, but he started crying, where am I supposed to go? Are you going to kick me out on the streets? And I just said, well, tit for tat, what's going on here? I just, he ignored all trespassing orders. He ignored everything that they told him and harassed us still for many, many months. This was inhibiting our healing to begin and to go forth with, get off the ground and all of this and find our new bearings. I never knew when he would pull up beside me in town and scare me and not know what was going to happen. So, but God spoke to me, and this is very important. When God speaks to you and you don't understand what the word is for at the time, you keep that word. You shelve it in your heart and your mind because it's for a time. And God had spoken to me many years earlier on a mountaintop in North Carolina. The sun was just coming up over the peaks. I was way up high and could see it across a valley, the sun coming up. And he said that I would get my healing, all that physical healing from neuropathy, when my husband was out of my life. It shook me that my husband was actually going to be out of my life. I journaled it. I kept it to myself. And guess what? Several months after our divorce, and he was going on with his life, but still not accepting the loss of control in any of the situations, I was pacing the living room at 1 a.m. in such fiery physical pain from the feet going up my leg. I couldn't take it anymore. I was on so many medications. Nothing was working. There was no way to stop the pain anyway, but this is supposed to help a little bit, or this is for breakthrough. It never did get me out of it for 11 years. I fell on my knees and I said, Father, if this is what you have for me, okay, I'll take it. I said, but I just want to be a vessel for you. But if this is my lot in your life, I'll take it. In that moment, all pain left my body, all of it. I was completely healed. For 3 days, my daughter woke up, Mama, what's wrong? Because I was laughing and crying, and we both rejoiced, and she was just crying because I was healed. And the next few days, people would call me back, are you still healed? I said, I'm healed. I didn't take any more of those medications. Everything was gone. It felt weird. It had been so long since I had that. But all the medicines I was taking, I was told and advised by doctors, by pharmacists, to get back on the medications and wean off. And I said, I'm not putting that stuff back in my body, in my healed body. Well, because I was taking so much morphine that night to try to stop the pain. I didn't care anymore. I had to do something to stop it. They said it was enough to have stopped my heart. And I said, well, God didn't heal me to kill me. God didn't heal me to stop my heart. And I'm still just rejoicing over this. So this is the thought I'm going to leave you with today. Cutting hurtful people off and letting them live with whatever delusional story suits them best is top tier for self-care. We have to do it. If for our self-care, for our children's care, we have to finally get to a place. It does take some help. It took me getting some help because I couldn't think, like I said, beyond fear of him. So we forgive by forgiving others. We forgive by giving others time to heal. And this doesn't happen all at once, but we grow a little bit stronger every day, even if we don't see it. We forgive by focusing on ourselves and stop pouring energy into toxicity. And one day we will remember how to smile and laugh again. We forgive by removing ourselves from the situation, but also be prepared to be the villain in their story and for finally standing up for yourself. When the tables turn, they change the narrative of the story to suit them, but it doesn't matter. See you next time, next week, and we'll continue the story to come out of your soul prison. Remember the book, Bring My Soul Out of Prison? You can get a copy through us at our Facebook webpage. Information will be on there. Thank you.